Hi everyone, Alicia here, your close to my heart independent consultant, and I'm here with the Workshops Your Way documented. I'm doing all my kit prep right now. So here's the instructions. I'm showing you the different layouts. It does 3 different 2-page layouts, plus it makes some cards and some pocket pages. There are the different embellishments that come with the kit, some little wooden words, and here are the papers that come with it. I love the colors in this kit. The purple with that saffron, very pretty. And it kind of has a vintage vibe. Those spots on that paper were supposed to be there. Here are the pocket journal pages, picture my life cards, and they are the same on both sides, just horizontal or vertical, which I love. And a couple of plain papers. I'm just reorganizing my paper, getting ready to cut off the zip strips. Here I'm showing you all the zip strips. They list on the back of them all the colors that are in this paper pack, so you can match your plain paper and your inks to it. Here are the bags I'm going to organize everything into. So the 3 layouts and the 2 cards. And we're going to start cutting off the zip strips. So they're 1/2-inch strip. What I love about the Close to My Heart paper is you can use these in your layouts and card making. They're super pretty and usable. So all the zip strips are now cut, and now I'm just looking at which ones we are going to need for our layouts, and I'm going to put those in the appropriate bags. A lot of these kits you have to cut them down to size, but this kit, it looks like they're all staying whole. Makes it easy. And then all my extras that I'm not using in cards or layouts, I just put back into the bag that everything came in, and I like to keep all my scraps in one place. And I'm going to show you guys in a couple videos from now all the stuff I made with all my scraps. Now we're going to cut up the Picture My Life cards. And these are great for pocket scrapbooking, but they're also great for card making or traditional scrapbooking. So we're going to use some of these in the layouts. And I do end up making some cards out of the leftovers, and as well as some pocket scrapbook pages. So this one I'm cutting into little strips for one of the layouts. One thing you always want to do is when you're using your paper trimmer, you want to either be pushing the paper up or down against the bar that you're measuring. I don't know if that makes sense, but see, I'm using the bottom bar, so I want to be using my blade. I want to push my blade down so that the paper doesn't move. I break my own rule a lot though, but it does work better. There we go. See, push it down. And I like to alternate between the top, measuring on the top bar and the bottom bar, just to keep my blade wear and tear even. I don't know if it makes a difference, but I like to think it does. So I have my little baby asleep on my lap, so if you hear any weird noises, she tends to be with me when I do these voiceovers because she's a baby that likes to be held. So now I'm just organizing all my little pieces into the different bags. And now we're going to start cutting the paper, and you always want to pay attention to the orientation. They give you a little picture on which way you should orientate your... Orientate? Is that a word? Which way you should have your paper facing. And then these cuts are a little bit trickier. You really have to pay attention to the direction. We're going to cut some triangles. And because this paper has a direction, you need to cut it properly if you want it to look right. So to cut a triangle, you're just going to put your square, you're going to match up your corners, your little cut line. So the first triangles went that way, and now the second triangles are going to go the other way. And you can see I'm double checking. This kit had quite a few triangles, and you really have to pay attention to the direction of the paper. And then when you're cutting, they always have, one side facing up, but they'll put a little asterisk when you're supposed to flip the page over and use the back. So that's why you saw me flipping over some of those pages. So, I'm a very visual person, so I like to line up my triangles to see which corners I'm cutting to. And I think in the end I realized it didn't actually matter because I'm going to be using the other side, but I was paranoid. Kind of messed up the corners on that one, so I'm going to cut a new piece. There's enough extra that I can do that. So I'm gathering them all up and putting them in the correct bag. Now we're going to move on to the next sheet of paper. And this one has more triangles, and you're going to have to pay attention to the way they need to be cut. So your little bows look right on your layout. So line up your corners on your little cut rail and you'll have a perfect little triangle. Oh, can you hear the little baby? She's starting to wake up. She says, "Mom, hurry up." Now we're getting into our plain paper. And I always say this, but one of the things I love about the Close to My Heart paper is it is double-sided. So there's a lighter side and a darker side. One thing I love about the Close to My Heart kits is, you know, they do all the color matching for you and everything. This yellow, it's like a mustard yellow. It's a color I would not normally pick out to use, but it's very pretty. Now here's your extra, they're not extra, here's your leftover sheets that are going to be for your background paper. And then we're going to cut up this white daisy. It's the last sheet to cut up. So this one, it's going to be used a little bit in the layouts, but also we're going to do some stamping and cut out some thin cuts with it. And I'm not going to do the stamping in this video, but I do get out my Big Shot and do some thin cuts. Yeah, thin cuts. You know what I mean. I'm getting out my Big Shot. And so the stamp and thin cuts for card making, that is something you have to get extra. It's not included in the kit. The cards are optional to make. I like that they include the instructions for them though. I always like to make them. So you can cut more than one thin cut die at a time. So here you can see I'm able to cut 3 flowers at once, which is nice, efficient. I like it. There are different methods for the thin cut and stamping. You know, you can do your thin cuts first and then stamp. All of our stamps are photopolymer, so you can see where you're stamping. Or you can stamp and then do the thin cuts. I think I need to start doing that because I am not very good at lining up my stamps. But some days, you know, I just don't feel like stamping. So I didn't here. And paper's double-sided, so if you mess up, you can always flip it over. At least on these, you can. So, yeah. And can you guys see the little magnet sheet down there in the corner? I love that the Close to My Heart thin cuts come on a little magnet card. Very handy, very convenient. So now I'm just tidying up, separating out my flowers to go because they're going to go in different baggies. And we are just about done. There are my layout bags, 1, 2, and 3. I'm putting in the background paper into each of them. Then I'm getting out the cards for my card bags, cards and envelopes. This kit makes 6 cards, 3 of 2 different designs. all the different kits have different amounts of cards. Sometimes it's 8 cards, 2 of 4 designs, you know. And that's it, you guys. I have my baggies all ready to go and I'm ready to craft. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe.